And there we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday night. If you are new around here, first of all, I hope you're watching on the SEWBECCA channel, but maybe you're also watching. Oh, hey, you've got your video on. Can you turn the volume down, Tracy? There you go. You got it. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Friday night. I am here with my friend Tracy from the Sewing Channel. So before we introduce her, I just want to say welcome to all of you that are here. If you've been around here before, thank you for coming back. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you've never been here before and you just hopped in, I would love it if you would consider hitting that little subscribe button down below. We do live streams every Friday night, and sometimes we are even joined by guests, just like Miss Tracy, who is doing her first ever live stream. And this isn't actually being broadcast on my channel. It is on her channel too. So I feel like, Tracy, you need to welcome your friends into your sewing room too.
I know. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. Or should I say, hi, friends. Welcome. And if you're new here, welcome. I am so excited about tonight's live stream. Becca has been so kind to invite me on as a piggyback on top of her channel so that we can bring you scrum quilting tonight. And I'm so excited to share with you my technique on how I crumb and scrap quilt.
I'm really excited for this. We've talked about it a little bit. And as you know, I'll just be honest, when I started quilting, I felt pressured to keep all of my scraps. But it just turned into this world, like this monster, where to keep the scraps organized and tamed, I couldn't work on the projects I wanted to work on. So I found quilty friends and organizations where I could donate those scraps to. But I have realized in the past year or so, I kind of like this whole world of tiny piecing, and I don't mind like scrap piecing. It's sometimes fun just to sit and improv piece some pieces together and see what you get out of it when it's done. So this is something I'm really excited about. Before we begin, why don't you tell the folks at home what we're going to be working with tonight?
Well, we're going to be working with tiny crumbs and scraps, and we're going to call it scrumming. So we're going to go scrumming in our scrap bin. And what that means is you have a purpose behind what you're doing. You're just not going and grabbing all of your scraps and just saying, okay, make me a quilt. You're not doing that. You're thinking in your head, what do I have the most of? Or maybe what do I want to get rid of? Right? We all
Mhm.
have those scraps. I mean, sometimes I do feel guilty if I'm looking at this scrap and I'm thinking, oh, should I throw it away or should I save it for a quilt? I mean, we've all been there, right? So
Right.
the ones that I do decide to save and put away, I thought that this would be a great idea if you had a purpose behind what you were actually scrap or crumb quilting with. So when I did this tutorial back here on this quilt, my purpose was mainly florals and stripes and dots, anything that had those motifs in within the print of the fabric or the color. I went for it and I just snatched it up and started making these scrum blocks because I love having guidelines. I don't know about you. I mean, yeah, I like to freely quilt and freely put pieces together,
Mhm.
but I like to kind of be within a parameter because
Yeah.
sometimes you get to a point and be like, what am I doing again? You know? So it just kind of brings you back to a purpose of what you're actually looking for. And I found it like really relieving as far as like a creative energy was coming out of me as I was digging and scrumming for all these scraps. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a floral. And, even if the florals were tiny dots, because dots was another one of mine, dots and stripes and florals. I mean, I just had a blast making this quilt behind me. It was so much fun. So I just wanted to bring it to you guys to give you an idea, possibly that you could make a scrum quilt too and have a purpose behind your scrap quilting, not just throwing it all together. So
I love that. That's a great idea, and I'm really excited to do that. So I've asked Tracy to join me on my channel for Friday night, and we are mirroring this live stream to her channel as well. And maybe that means that she'll have some live streams in the future since we're ripping the Band-Aid here for her. Sure to hop. If you are watching this on SEWBECCA's channel, please make sure to go over to the sewing channel and check her out. And if you like what you see, give her a little subscription. By the way, Tracy, you are a stone's throw from 100K.
oh my word. And you know,
These 30,000.
when people say that to me, I'm always like, well, my kids will be proud because you know, kids nowadays, they love social media, and you know, they think I'm like it because I've got all these followers, and I'm like, you know, it's sewing, you know, but they still think it's, you know, they're the ones that are going to be the most impressed, trust
Yeah.
me.
Well, you know, I'm excited to see that plaque come
Oh,
for you and to see
yeah.
that in the background, because then I will know somebody that has one, and I'll be
Oh, that's
honest, like
fun.
I want one day.
Yeah, absolutely. So in saying that, all of my followers, if they could go over to SEWBECCA's, check out her channel,
Yes,
subscribe,
please.
do all that stuff, you know, and we'll just all work together and quilt, and it'll be one big community. It'll be wonderful. Um, but
Absolutely.
but real quick though, I do want to thank my two moderators. Last minute, I asked them to moderate my chat, and it is Fallon from Sew Be It Quilts and
Mhm.
Chris from Sew the Distance.
Hi,
So
guys.
yes, hello, and thank you so much. And you guys, they got excellent channels too. So you need to go over there and check it out. I'm going to keep you guys busy watching videos this summer.
Well, and that's a great chance or a great segue for me to also remind you that on the SEWBECCA channel, we've got a couple of awesome moderators who are here with us
Yes.
every Friday night. And if you want to know more about them in the SEWBECCA channel, you can do !friends, and it'll give you all of my moderators with their own little commands. And when you use their command, you'll get a link to all of their social media. They have wonderful channels. Everybody has their own. It's like a channel is kind of like your own unique art form. So even though we might be doing the same type of stuff, you put your own personality, your own flair
That's
onto it. And
right.
so then you end up with this different product. And maybe you and I do the same exact product, but maybe your personality speaks to an audience a little bit differently. So there's something for
Right.
everybody. Make sure to check people
Absolutely.
out. And I'm going to tell you the best way you can compliment a YouTuber is to subscribe to their channel and watch their videos. That's the best compliment you can give them.
Hmm.
So, all
Absolutely.
right. So, Miss Tracy, we
Ooh,
talked a little bit about what scrumming is. I've
yes.
got some stuff here. And if people want to do this with us tonight, let's
Oh, I
walk
hope
them
they do.
through.
Please, please do this with us tonight. It's so easy. I know you have scraps. Don't tell me you don't have scraps. So I
So,
know you do.
what should they go get? If they want to do this tonight, what do they need to do?
Well, like I said, think about the scraps that you have, or go get your bin and sit down and just look at them. I know it's daunting sometimes to look at your scrap bin. Trust me, I know. But you just look at it and say, okay, well, maybe I'll do, and I have some examples right here. This one, when I made this block right here, I scrummed with a purpose for blue and turquoise, which, I mean, come on, those colors look amazing together, right? I mean, they're just gorgeous. So I went through my scrap bin and I said, okay, anything goes though. It could have been a stripe, it could have been a floral, a dot. It didn't matter. As it was in the turquoise and the blue family, it was going in this block. And you'll be amazed at how many scraps you actually have, or you'll be amazed at how many colors you don't really have. Because if you're looking for a navy blue in your scraps and you're only coming up with one or two, maybe it's time to buy navy fabric. Just kidding. No, don't go out and buy more. Use what you got first.
So we had a
But
question in the chat that was
oh yeah, yeah.
asking, it was their first time here and they wanted to know, are we going to do this as a sew along so other people can join in? And the answer is yes. What we're doing is talking about scrum quilting, and we're going to talk for a little bit while you can go grab your scraps. And now here's the thing. Tracy's definition of scraps and my definition of scraps are interesting. Teresa said she's not a mod anymore. I need to go, I think I think my mom may have done something to my channel. Let me fix that.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea what happened. I just need to get on top of that like right now. I don't know if my mom did something or she got dropped by accident. So Teresa, hang on. I'm coming to the rescue. I'm coming to the rescue, Teresa. But where I was going with that is our definition of scraps is different, right? Like when I showed you what I was going to work with, some of those pieces are like a third of a yard. And your definition of scraps are like, oh, just grab like this little 3-inch piece of fabric. So I'll tell you,
That is
grab
so
whatever you
funny.
want.
That's right. Hey, grab your fat quarters, right?
Yep. Yep. There you go. Grab your fat quarters, grab your scraps, grab whatever that case may be. I am looking to see what's going on. I gotta find Miss Teresa in the live stream chat. So I'm kind of hunting right now to fix this.
Do you
Teresa
want me to go
McBrayer.
ahead and talk about the
Yeah, why don't you
one?
walk us through
Okay.
how to scrum?
Well, so this particular block right here, you can already tell right here. Go ahead, I'll give you a few seconds. Write in the comments what you think I scrummed for. What do you think I scrummed for? I'm gonna look at my comments here. What do you think I scrummed for? What colors, what theme for this particular block right here? I'm gonna
I
give you 3,
pink
2.
dots.
Girl, that is
I don't know.
not
I can't tell.
pink.
I see two. I see.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the answer. I scrummed for low volume fabric, low volume prints. And how amazing is that? I mean, I did a whole back of a quilt, all done in scrappy, low volume prints. I fell in love with it. It was actually the quilt that we did for our giveaway on my 2-year anniversary. And honestly, it was so much fun, but I ran out of all of my low volume prints. So I ended up having to go to the store. But I did have some of these left over to make this scrum block. So it doesn't have to be colorful. It can just be low volume. And I consider anything low volume as a light gray, a white. It could even have a little bit of red in it, like you see right here. Or there's a little bit of pink, there's green, there's yellow. I mean, you name it. But it's soft enough that overall, when you look at this block, do you see low volume? You don't really see the red, do you? You
No, not
see
really.
just an overall. And this is going to be a gorgeous block, say up against a darker color as a background. That would be great. So there's that one. So you could scrum for that. So my other one, my other example, because you know, a teacher always brings examples, right? Is this one right here. Now I know you guys can tell what I scrummed for, right? I scrummed for 2 different things on this block. When I went scrumming in my scrap bin, I chose pink, of course, because you see mostly pink on there, right?
I see
And
the
what
pink.
else?
I also see
And
red. I see green. I see a little bit of low volume. I see lots of florals.
there you go. I chose my 2 scrum things here were pink and florals.
Yep, I can
So,
see
so,
that.
so my mission was to dig through and grab all of the pinks and the florals. And how gorgeous! I mean, you
Yeah.
wouldn't think to put all those together, right? When I
Yep.
look at that, I love that.
Well,
So
and see,
those are
I'm
just
always worried about when we have multiple pieces that do that. I'm always worried about, am I going to have too much of one thing? And that's kind of neat because you just kind of showed me that you can have all of the florals and you're still going to have some differentiation going on.
yes, you can still, you don't have to just pick like it has to be only just turquoise all the way through it. It can be turquoise with a little bit of red, but the overall, whatever you pick, I mean, it's your rules too. Um, you know, like when I chose this block for my low volume, I always say little bits of color on a low volume print is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. That's why I love that that one line by Zen Chic. Oh my word. I mean, there's no color in her line, right? Is that one with
Right.
the low volume gorgeous prints though. Oh, just gorgeous.
So Amanda McDonald wanted to know, what is the smallest piece that you keep?
Well, I try not to keep them too small. A lot of you would go back in my garbage or, you'd be one of them people out at the road. Let's see what's in Tracy's garbage can. I mean, I do throw some stuff out. I mean, we're not going to look in it actually right now, but probably like I consider this a scrap, and this is like almost 1.5 inches. I think if you get any smaller, you're gonna lose it within your seam allowance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because if you take a quarter off one end and a quarter off the other,
you lose a half inch.
I mean, do you want to lose that much? Or maybe you want that. Maybe you want your scrum block to be just teeny tiny pieces, as tiny as you can go. And hey, if you do that, you go, because that would be too aggravating for me.
So
But
Tiffany's
I
in the
mean,
chat, and she's a
yes,
big advocate of scraps, and she keeps anything bigger than an inch, and she's got that down. Anything bigger than an inch, she will find something to do with it, because if
yes.
you, like you were saying, if you take a 1/4 inch off either side, it reduces it a 1/2 inch, so you still have a 1/2 inch of fabric
Mhm,
in your block, so you could still use it. So I would
mhm,
say if I were to keep all of my scraps, I would keep anything bigger than an inch. And
yes.
actually I do keep anything bigger than probably about, I'll say 2 inches or
Mhm,
so, and I categorize them into two piles. And this is really very basic because I let me just walk back a minute. Let me give you a little bit about Becca. I love organization. Like, I
oh,
love it.
you wouldn't
And
like
it
my sewing
becomes
room.
well, it becomes a little bit of a beast that I have to tame. And so if I kept all my scraps and I did not control myself, I would want to organize them all by size and by
Oh,
color. And I wouldn't be able to do, okay, these are all pieces that are 3 inches, and now there's 3 inch squares or 3 inch strips. I'd have to have them all be 3 inch squares or all
right,
3 inch strips, right? And then I'd want them
right.
by color, and then I'd want them by tone of that color, and
Oh,
it would just become ridiculous.
oh, I
And
couldn't
I
do
would
it.
never have any time to do anything else.
No,
So
you wouldn't.
I have them separated into two piles. There's the scraps that I don't want to part with because it's fabric I love, and I'm going to throw
Mhm.
caution to the wind. I don't care about what size it is. I don't care about what color it is, but I have a bin on my shelf behind me. You can actually see it right there, right here. This holds all of my scraps. And when that bin gets full, I pull it out and I look at it and I decide, do I still love them enough to keep them or work with them? Or do I want to pay them forward? The
Yes.
other pile of scraps that I keep, everything else goes shamelessly into a box that eventually gets mailed to Tiffany.
That's wonderful, though. That's wonderful that you have somewhere to send them, and she's gonna use them. So that's
She is.
great.
She is. She's
I
going
think
to
that's
send them out.
wonderful.
She's going to use them, and it makes me feel good because I'm sending them to her because I know she'll use them, but the
Mhm.
reality is I'm choosing her because she's my friend. And
Yeah.
that's why she's getting the boxes from me. It's not just because she's a YouTuber and uses scraps. It's because she's
Right.
my friend. And when I
Aw.
send her those things, she's all the time showing me what she's quilting, what she's making.
Yes.
And she makes quilts faster than I know anybody I know. So I feel like it's going to really good use. So that's what I do.
Aw. That's good. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
good. Mine are all just thrown into a bin, but and
Hey,
then I
mine are
did that
too. Right
one,
there.
I did that organization video, and that really got me jump started to actually organize what I had. That's why I've been doing so many string quilt videos lately, because
Oh,
I have a ton of strings left over from that video.
yeah. Yep,
So,
for sure, for sure, for sure. All right,
but
so
yeah,
we have told people to go get their
yes.
scraps and
So
then to
hopefully
pick a
they've done
theme.
that.
Yep. We've told them to pick a theme and to pull out some pieces that they want, and it can be any size. It can be an inch
Mhm.
square, it can be a fat quarter, whatever it is you want to work with.
Well,
Do we want to
also,
show? Go ahead.
I just wanted to add about that. The reason why I called it scrum quilting was because of the like I would consider this a scrap, and then I would consider, let me find one here. I would consider this a crumb. So when you put scrap and crumb together, you get scrum quilting. So that's where I got the name from, if anybody's wondering, because there's always that line of, well, are you making a scrappy quilt or are you making a crumb quilt? So,
Right. Yeah.
so we married them together, and that's where we got scrum. So get your big pieces and your tiny pieces, because we're going to marry these all together. Doesn't
I'm
matter.
really excited.
Yay.
All right. I'm going to set this up. So we're going to keep you on the top here. That way, as we're going, if there's something you want to showcase, we can quickly get to this bigger view of you since you're teaching us what we're doing. And I'll be little tiny in the corner.
I'm gonna just readjust my camera real quick because
Okay.
I can see that I want to come up a little bit.
Sure. Do what you got to do. We'll watch you. We're on this ride we're on this journey. It's fine.
You guys are funny.
Okay.
Okay.
And then when you come back, perhaps we can talk about the scraps that we have picked.
Yes. Okay. All right. I think that's better because then you can't see my computer.
Okay.
Right. There we go. Because then I can see the chat too, and maybe I don't know. And so if I'm looking away down, I'm trying to catch a chat, but I'm not that good at multitasking like Becca is, so she's gonna have to look at all that. Okay.
All right. Do you want to go first?
I can. So for my scrumming that I did, because Becca and I had a meeting and we talked about what we were going to scrum for, and we said all kinds of stuff, and we ended up doing something totally different than what I think we started saying. So I ended up that I scrummed for anything red and anything white. Now, it could have been white on white or plain white, whatever scrap that I had or crumb that I had, I grabbed it for this particular project. I've always wanted to make a red and white quilt. Let me know in the comments if you have too. I've seen that they actually have a whole quilt, like, I don't know, what do they call them? Quilt festival, or what do they call those backup quilt things?
Quilt show.
Yeah, quilt show or whatever. But they were all red and white quilts. I saw it online and I thought, wow, that is spectacular. So I've always wanted to make one. So I figured I'm going to scrum a red and white quilt block.
I like that.
Yeah. And so Becca, what did you decide on?
Well, I want to tell you, as we're talking about the red and white quilts, I've been rewatching Friends, and in the early seasons of Friends, in Monica and Rachel's apartment, there is this quilt that hangs over the chair, and it is just really big red squares and really big white squares, and it's put together probably in like a 9-patch type of configuration, just alternate red, white, red, white, red, white. I want to make that because I feel like those reds and those whites, I could find a red batik and a white batik that's got a really pretty subtle print on it, and I could just make those squares, and then I could quilt it just like straight line quilting or in the ditch or something. I want to make the Friends quilt. So when you said red and white quilt, I actually typed in the chat. I was like, I want to do a red and white quilt because I want to make Monica's quilt.
Oh yeah. Well, you should screenshot that picture and text it to me because I'd love to see that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, let me show you in the overhead camera above what I'm going to be working with. So I chose dots, and I pulled some of these ombre confetti dot pieces that are from V & Co. I love her ombre fabric, and I just love it. I can't get enough of it. And this is part of my scrap bin that I will never give away. So in all honesty, literally, as we were preparing to hit the go live button, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, these were all cut, these were all cut off of yardage. And then this one down here was cut off of a fat quarter. So like I didn't have little pieces. I don't have crumbs. I only have scraps. And that's what I'm going to be using tonight. Yes. Really excited. Let's see if I can get a better shot.
Those are so gorgeous. They're gorgeous. Yeah. I love those.
Really excited.
Makes me want to make a quilt in all of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could do that.
Yeah,
however,
we don't have to.
Probably not tonight.
No, not tonight.
So I have my pieces, I know because they're scraps and they're left over from working with another quilt. I know at one time they were pressed and starched, but I do have lots of creases in mine. Should I take the time to starch these and press them so they're nice and flat?
I mean, you can absolutely. Are we frozen?
No, not on my end.
Because I look frozen.
Oh no, what happened? This happened
I don't know.
last time before last night. Are you do you have a good Wi-Fi signal?
I should. Yeah, I have full Wi-Fi.
Okay. How's your phone doing?
My phone is plugged in. It's,
No, like cell phone signal or like signal wise, camera signal.
let me look. I
Oh,
mean, everything looks good.
yeah, it looks better now. Whatever you just did made the picture quality look better. So,
Really, all I did was
yeah, I have no
okay,
idea.
I didn't really do anything.
Okay. Well, worst case scenario, if this ends up being a problem, because um, we actually did have a problem with my guest last night, and she ended up having to turn off her Wi-Fi at home. I don't know what your Wi-Fi is at home. If you have a slow Wi-Fi, it could be causing problems with your live stream. But she had problems with her Wi-Fi and she had to turn it off, and she went off of cell phone signal, and she was streaming from her phone, and it was causing issues where she appeared frozen. So if any of that happens, what we could do, while it's not ideal, we could take a moment and pause, and we could switch your device to your computer with just your webcam, and we could do everything with that. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you look better now.
Oh,
So
good. Oh, good.
yep,
I
you
saw
look better now.
someone said you're back.
Yep.
Fallon said, I hear you, Tracy, just fine. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay,
if I see
great.
your picture starting to get grainy again, whatever you just did, I'll tell you, and maybe just get up and do that.
Okay,
Okay.
no
So I
worries.
was saying mine have creases in them. Should I press
Oh,
them?
yes, I took the time and I did press out my scraps ahead of time, but you don't have to, because as
Okay.
you'll see as we go, I do finger press at the sewing machine sometimes, and then I'll, when I get to a certain point, then I'll take it over and I'll press everything real nice. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Well,
think it really matters. It's your preference, really. I mean, I did it because I knew we were going to be live, to be honest with you. And I wanted to make sure that at least I had that done and I didn't get like frustrated. You know what I mean? So I just,
yeah. Well,
but
I'm going to treat with starch all the pieces that I want to work with, just to make sure that there is some starch in here. And it
mhm,
won't take long because I'm not going to use all of this, right? Like I'm not going to use a
right.
width of fabric
No,
strip.
no,
Uh,
no, no.
Let me just go ahead and press this, and I'll give you guys the
And,
overhead camera as I'm doing it.
and also I'll just mention too about the pressing. Um, since everything's going to be kind of cut on the bias and such, um, any stretching that happens, it'll be fine because it is a scrum quilt, and
Yep.
we're not looking for point perfection or anything like that. So if you don't have starch at home, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just spritz it with some water and just press it out. However you do.
Yeah. It looks like you freeze and then you're coming back. So I'm not sure what's going on. Like, are you getting notifications on your phone or something,
Mm-mm,
maybe?
my phone's on do not disturb.
Okay. I have no idea. Is she still frozen? Do you see yourself frozen right now?
No.
Okay. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm not sure how to troubleshoot this.
Let me think.
Do
So,
you
do you want me to go into my phone and turn off my Wi-Fi and just go strictly off of cell air? Is that what you
No,
mean?
now you're fine. They're saying you're fine. Okay. So I think we're just going to have to understand that there's going to be pieces where your picture is going to freeze, but the
Okay.
audio is going to be consistent,
Oh,
and we
good.
can, like, because it seemed to resolve itself.
Mhm.
So let's just take that for what it's going to be tonight. Understand that we're not going to be able to fix it, And maybe we can do a little bit of troubleshooting offline after this live to make sure that the next time we do a live, you'll be good to go.
Okay. Sherry Lucina says you both are okay on my screen. So if we're
Good.
okay on Sherry's screen, then we're good to go.
There you go. There you go. And you know what? All of that conversation, and I am just about done pressing all of these. And I think you're right. By adding a little bit of best press in here, just to make sure that there is some, it's going to make my life. It's going to make our lives a little bit easier when we start dealing with some of the bias edges. So I'm
Yes.
excited about that.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I got all my pieces starched. Now what?
Okay. Now that you have all your pieces starched, now typically we have, the little pieces that Becca doesn't have.
Well, I can make them
So
little.
you can, girl, make them little, make them little.
Let me zoom you
So
out a little bit.
Can you all see my scrap situation here?
I can see there is a mess of fabric in front of you, and they're
I mean,
reds
look at-
and whites.
I mean, look at how beautiful. Whenever I look at my scraps, I'm always like, oh my word, when did I buy that? And where did I get that? And wow, I need more of that. And like this right here. Look at this, guys. Look at that, friends. You
Oh,
see that? Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, come
what
on.
are those? Hold
Those
on,
are
let me make you bigger.
Those little blowy flowers.
Oh,
What are
like
those?
yeah. Yeah, you
They're
blow on them and
beautiful.
they, not dandelions.
What
I
are
don't
those
remember what the
called?
name is. You guys know what we're
Someone's
talking
gonna
about.
tell us. Someone tell us in the comments. The little blow things where you make a wish.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it slips my mind, but those are so precious to me. It's like I need yardage in that, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was just like a fat quarter bundle scrappy thing that I got. But anyways, so typically what I do is I just lay everything out and kind of just look at it. And whenever I feel the need to put two together, like I'll find two that I just think look great together. Like, let's just get this little blowy thing. Did anyone say? Someone said dandelion, ragweed. But it's called
Oh, they're
something else.
dandelions. They said they're dandelions after the flower dries up.
Oh.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it's called
keep
something
going.
though.
Keep going.
So anyways, so I have, mine was red and white. So this has a lot more white in it. So I'm just going to take these two pieces right here. I'm going to put right sides together. I'm not going to pin these because we're not looking for precision, remember. And we're actually not even really looking for a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Only if you really want to do that, you can. Because you can go a little less than a 1/4, you can go a little more, whatever you feel like, because this isn't precision quilting. So you're just going to sew, which makes life a lot easier and you can relax and sew these. So I'm just going to start sewing these two pieces together.
I am doing something that feels completely foreign to me by just making wax. I've just taken some wax.
And that looks great. That looks great. Your wax looked great.
I'm just going to take a whack at it.
And so the next thing after I've sewn these two pieces together, one of my tips, I did make a few notes. One of my tips are the first few pieces that I do connect together, I open the seams on them. The only reason why I do that is because of the bulk. There's so many scraps and crumbs that we're going to incorporate here. And I didn't turn my iron on. There we go. That we don't want all that bulk, but trust me, after the first couple are sewn together, I start pressing to the side. So you just do what feels right to you.
And my pieces don't match size-wise. So if you look at what I just sewed together, that's okay, right?
That's okay. Look at mine. Yep.
Okay. And then you said the first.
Yep. Perfect.
Press open.
And then, the first few that you connect together will be pressed open. Yep.
Okay.
So
we're doing this Tracy's way. Press it open. Got it. I normally press to the side, but we're going to do everything you tell me to do tonight.
All right. Oh, good.
I'm going to be a good student.
I have so much control over Becca
You
now.
do, you do.
So then, I have this crazy looking thing right here, right? After I've pressed it all, it's nice and flat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, well, I don't want that to be that big. And I'm going to say it
Okay.
just like that. I'm going to whine when I say it.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
gonna,
that works.
I'm going to slice this right
Well,
down
I don't want
the
it to
center.
be that big. I'm going to slice this. And I
Yeah.
can slice it however I want.
Yes, I'm going to go at an angle. So
I'm going to go at a 45-degree angle just because I can.
yes.
Just
I think you ought
what?
to do it at a 60.
Too late.
So when I slice that, I then have two pieces. Now I'm going to use this one and I'm going to set this one aside because my one and only rule is that I don't want two fabrics right next to each other that are the same. So.
Okay, well, I set mine aside. It's on the floor on the other side of the room, right? We're good.
Yeah, that's perfect. And this one is still yet a little bit too big, so I'm actually going to cut some of this off too.
Okay, I'll do that too.
I'm going to keep that dandelion in there.
Well, I'm just going to get rid of some pink.
Yes.
Okay,
Now,
that's gone.
The other huge tip that I have for you guys, this is huge. As you're building around this scrum block, you're going to sort of keep a square shape. Okay?
Uh-oh.
Does that
That's
make
not
sense?
a square.
No,
Yeah,
it's not a square. It's not a square, trust me. Because let's see. No, let me show you as I build this and I'll show you. Because if you go too out of whack, you're not going to have a straight cut to make a straight cut. So, and you'll be taking off way too much fabric. So we'll just keep building on this one.
Okay.
So I really like this right here. I think this is Lori Holt right here. This line.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do is, you see me here, I'm going to take this red and I'm going to connect it right here because it's about the same size in length, if you can see that.
Okay.
So I'm going to connect those together, bring it over to my sewing machine. I'm just going to connect those two together. Is it a 1/4 inch seam allowance? I don't know. Doesn't have to be.
Oh, okay. Watch this. I'm not going to do a 1/4 inch. I'm going to start 1/4 inch and I'm going to go, whoa, oops.
Yeah.
What? That is not a 1/4 inch. Uh-oh. What do I do?
Okay, so now all you do is you would cut the excess off.
Okay.
And then open it up and do your thing. Or, now see this one, I'm not going to open this seam. I'm just going to push it to the side because I feel like it.
I feel like I even did curve piecing in this one.
Oh, well, you might.
I might need that to be a straight line.
These do have to be straight lines. I mean, we can do curved scrum.
No.
Live.
One challenge at a time, Tracy. One challenge at a time.
And then I'm going to go ahead and grab. Let's see. Then I'm gonna set this piece aside. I'm gonna set that piece aside. Oh.
That was gonna be hard to press open. I've got my piece down to this small now.
See, Becca's got crumbs now. She's got crumbs.
I have crumbs. I made crumbs trying to play with crumbs. All right, let me try again. Here we go. I'm going to take my seam. All right. And then here, now I press this open with my fingers. Okay. And then I got this, I have this dog ear weird thing. Get out of here. Okay.
Yeah, now, you don't really have to worry about that. I mean, you cut it if you want.
Too late. Fixed it. It's on the floor. Okay. I have this now.
Okay. All right. So now just set that aside, but keep it close. Don't let it get too out of your eye gate. So you have this, set it aside. Now we're going to grab, since mine was red and white, so now I'm really going to grab a real white one. And this is white on white, the little, now what they call that, right?
Sure.
I think.
Okay. Tone on tone?
Tone on tone. That's what I was looking for.
And I'm so glad I could help.
I'm going to take this little crumb right here and I'm going to add it right sides together to this. So we're
Okay.
actually kind of building two separate things, but we're going to add them together
All right.
eventually. So we're going to put those together. How's everybody doing with their scrum blocks in the comments? Is everybody
Terry
along?
said, I have made awesome placemats and table runners from doing this method, and I absolutely love it. It is so calming to do. No stress sewing.
Yes.
Lori, Lori Fayer, who's anti-handmade in the chat, said, Becca, have you been watching Eleanor Burns? And I think she's saying that because I'm just throwing the fabric behind me.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe.
Oh, I've got so much here. I've got a lot.
Oh, you got to whine when you do it. Oh,
I
it's
know.
too much.
It's so much. So what I did was, those were long, and then I just cut those into two. So I have two little two patches. And then I'm going to take this, look at this, Christmas red stripe. Reminds me of candy cane. And then I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to lay it on there, and I'm going to just sew these together. Now this one, of course, is way too long. So just so it's not too much in the way, I'm going to slice it off now. And then I'm just going to add that. If you guys are scrumming along with us, let us know in the comments what fabric you scrummed for too. I'd love to know. Did you choose florals? Did you choose dots? Or are you just like loving the show tonight? Becca's show.
I think I hopefully have fixed the audio a little bit. They said I was coming through really loud, but you were soft compared to me. So I've changed my audio settings, and hopefully I'm matching her volume level a little bit better.
So can you all see this? This is where I'm going to talk to you about the square.
Okay.
But I don't want a square though. So you see how these pieces are hanging off the edge right here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to slice that along here, and then slice that little bit off the top. And then I may come in and do a little angle thing there, and then start adding again from there. You're not doing like a log cabin effect. You're just adding. I hope that makes sense, because if you were to leave that, I mean, you can't, because it's not going to go into the seam allowance, right? So you just want to make sure that you cut off the excess, but you don't want to cut it off so that you have like a hexagon or an octagon or something like that.
Okay, so I have a big 45-degree angle on mine that I need to kind of add more to, so I have a square-ish piece. So I just grabbed a big piece of scrap, sewed it onto the bottom. I'm pressing this seam open.
Yes.
And then I can use my ruler to get that into
like
more
at that
of a
point,
shape.
Becca, I would press that to the side.
Okay.
But
well, then
I mean, I'm just saying, you don't have to press it all open. You don't have to.
Well, I will start pressing to the side now that I'm starting to work with bigger pieces.
And look what I ended up with. I ended up with this cute little diamond.
That's cute.
But I'm going to add more to it though. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm going to go back over to that first piece. Because scrumming is all different, Becca's is totally going to look different than mine. Let me see here.
What if I take this little itty bitty 3.5-inch square ruler and I make it a real square shape?
Oh, don't
do that.
Don't do real shapes.
Okay.
Because then you're gonna because you're gonna box yourself in. Pun was intended. Get it?
So should I just help me understand what to do with this then? Because I've got this wonky piece and I've got jagged edges. Should I just be picking a side that I want to sew a piece onto and making that straight?
I would. Okay, at that point, go ahead and make your straight cuts, and you're going to be cutting off of, right there. You just pointed to it right there. Make a straight cut and cut that blue or whatever that color is off. And then you can go to the other side, and I would come down on that pinkish mauve color once after you cut that blue tip off. I would cut down at an angle so that you end up with a different kind of, cut that off. That
okay.
Angle it more. Angle it. like more, your
Like,
ruler. Like
I
give yourself some seam allowance. No, too far, too far.
I don't know what you're
No, that
having me do.
bottom part where your thumb is, you want more pink. You need to come more out.
Like this? I'm an inch away from that.
Yeah, you want to come out a little bit more onto that pink color.
Oh, this
Away.
color?
Yes, there you go.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, slice it there. Because you want to give it
Okay.
some interest, you want it to, you don't want it to look just like a string, or
Okay.
something like that. You want to have an angle there to kind of,
Oh, okay.
So
Trusting the
this is where
process
I'm
because it
at.
feels
Yes.
good.
So you see this right here, then I ended up with this after I trimmed mine. You can see they're a square-ish shape. They're not an octagon, they're not a hexagon or whatever those shapes are. They're none of those. They're kind of squarish, four sides, I should say. So
Okay.
if I put these two together, I think that's going to look good right there. But you can see already that if I do connect these two, that I am going to have to cut some angle off of here, and that's okay.
Okay.
So I am going to put these two together and sew them.
All right.
Hi,
How
Bobby
big?
Guy. I see
People
someone
wanted,
said hi.
Donna Spencer wants to know how big are we making the blocks? Mine's going to be 9.5 inches when it's all done.
And for my end result blocks, who asked that, by the way? Who asked
Don,
that?
Donna Spencer.
Donna, when I am scrum quilting or scrap quilting, crumb quilting, whatever, I am always finished after I look at it and I feel like it's finished. It's weird, I know, but it comes from like that craftiness inside of you, so to speak. Like you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, that looks good. That's how I do it. And that's how I did it on my entire scrum quilt. I did not measure one of these blocks the whole time until I was done. And that was only to tell people how big they were on the video. So it's kind of, I just want you to be inspired to stop when your creative eye tells you to. You know what I
Okay.
mean? You could go on forever, and some people do, and they'll do whole quilts like this.
Okay.
But Becca's doing hers, I think 9.5, and you could do that too.
So here's what I've got so far. It kind of looks like a kite to me.
Oh, I love it. See, okay, Becca has a non-square shape or non-four sides. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and that's okay because we'll fix that.
Yes,
So
please.
you are going to have to come, you see where the yellow is? You are going to have to make a big cut down to the point on that pink, from the yellow to the pink, giving yourself a straight side. No other
Okay.
yellow. Go point to the other, that one. Go from that. Nope. Go to that yellow.
The goldenrod or the
Wrong way.
yellow?
I guess the goldenrod. From the goldenrod down toward the blue, the pink that's next to the blue, down. It seems weird, I know.
Well, why can't it doesn't matter which way I go.
Well, you're going to get your best cut though if you go from the goldenrod down to the see where your right hand is? You want to go from the goldenrod point. No.
Well, I
From the
think you're watching the video on your YouTube channel, which is about 30 seconds to a minute delayed. So you're like every time I move my hand, you're like, no, yes, no. So I'm going to hold my hand here for a whole minute and you can tell me.
Okay. So that's your right finger. Go up to
Yes,
the point of the goldenrod. Go up
it's
to the
on the
point.
goldenrod.
Yeah, go to the other point.
Here. The side that's not touching any fabric, the raw edge.
Yes, there you go, right
Okay.
there. Draw a
Okay.
line in your mind from there all the way down to the farthest point on the total opposite side. It's totally on the opposite side of where your finger is right now. Not that way, the other way, sideways. Not that way.
Like this?
Nope.
Tell me what color.
Okay. Okay, look at me. You're going to go from this point to that point.
Well, that's what I did, and you said no.
No,
So am
where?
I going from the goldenrod to the blue
To the pink.
to the pink?
Or maybe that's not a pink down there next to the blue.
This is mauve. This is a purple. Is this? Are
Okay.
you trying to get me to straighten this edge right
I'm
here?
trying that one right there. That's it. Yes,
Okay.
you need a straight cut. Yes, girl. Yes. Yes. Oh my word.
Okay. Going.
Straighten
Oh,
it. You're gonna
goodness.
lose fabric, but you need that edge to be straightened if you want it to look right.
Okay. Is this okay?
No, you need to go all the way to the point.
Well, my ruler.
Unless you cut off that. Cut off that.
I'm just going to
Yeah, there
cut
you
it
go.
off
Now
because
you
my
got
ruler
4
didn't go that
sides.
far.
Yep.
Okay.
You got 4 sides.
Oof. That was a
Okay.
that was a
that was
challenge in
rough.
communication, wasn't it? I think our trick is telling me colors.
I can't tell what colors
It's
what.
okay. It's so because they're gradient, and the mauve looks like the purple looks like the pink, and it's
It
just
does
all over the
really.
place.
I mean, that block looks great. That looks great. You see all that movement you have there in the middle? I love that. How that
So
looks like
what
a
we're
point
looking
there.
for is not necessarily that the raw edges are perfectly parallel to each other, but
Right.
it's that we have 4 straight lines,
Sides. 4
right?
straight sides.
They can be different sizes. They don't have to be running parallel to each other, but it has to be 4 lines and nothing more. Is that it?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
goal in the end. Yep. And if you
Okay.
start early with that, then but you don't want it to be a log cabin look. You still want it to be scrappy, you know?
Sure.
So this is where I'm at. And so Becca has kind of the same thing going on. And now this one isn't done yet though. So we're going to dig now back into our scrum bucket
Okay.
and we are going to find some other stuff to complement what we already have. And let me see if I can find something cute here. I got all kinds of cute stuff.
And we're just going to build onto those we're going to build onto the
Yes.
straight sides that we have, but make sure that we're continuing to trim it so that we're not creating additional sides.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly. So this one right here, I have some little lobsters. Aren't they cute? And remember that cutoff that I did from this one right here? I'm going to add this one to this because they're both tiny.
Okay.
Is everyone with us still? Oh my word. Is that making sense?
I think so.
Teresa Louise says, what is the difference between crumb quilting and scrum quilting? Okay, great question. This is scrums and this is scraps. So crumbs are tinier pieces than scraps. So when you take scraps and you take crumbs and you put them together, you have scrum quilting. Because people have or quilters, I should say, have drawn a line and said, well, this is scrap quilting. We're not using any of those little pieces. Or you can't put scraps in crumb quilts. Crumb quilts are only so big because, everybody has like their rules and their things that they do or they think they know. So I totally wiped that out. And now we just have scrum quilting. And you can incorporate your scraps, your crumbs, which makes scrum blocks, and scrumming with a purpose. So I don't know if you were here at the beginning, Teresa Louise. I'll just recap. Scrumming with a purpose is going into your scrap or your crumb bin and have an idea of what you want to make. Like mine tonight was anything red and white, it was on. It was going in my bin here, and I was going to make some red and white blocks with it. And Becca has chosen dots, her ombre dots, and she's got all the colors in all the ombre dots, right, Becca?
I do.
And she didn't really have a lot of scraps, so she kind of cut hers down to manageable to make a scrum block. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Hopefully I answered your question. Did I? You'll let me know though, right?
Of course, she will.
Okay, good. If not, it's pretty simple, really. It's
Teresa
just a
wants to know,
different take on it.
she wants to know, did you make the word up?
I did. I don't think it's in the dictionary. I don't know. Someone look that up in the chat and see. You know, I never did look up and see if it was in the dictionary. Watch, it's probably in there. Here, I thought I made a new word up, and it's, you know, isn't that the way it always goes, right?
So Tracy, I just added some pieces on, and I just want to walk through the whole debacle that we just tried to do where we were trying to figure this out. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides, if I counted that right. And so
Okay,
now what I need to do is cut it so that I only have 4 sides. So I have to make, I think what I have to do is make a creative decision about where I want to place my cuts to get just 4 sides. Okay.
Yes. If
Okay.
I was you, I would cut through the yellow that's closest to your watch there.
Mm-hmm.
I would cut through at the very corner and go up and cut all that pink off. I would start. You need a bigger roller, sister.
Well, I know, but I like these little pieces down here, so I don't want to lose them. I want to
Oh,
cut up here a little bit. So,
okay. So you'll want to go. I
yep,
would. I would just cut it. Just go ahead and cut it and see what you get.
yeah.
That's the whole fun of this. I mean, you're creating the block yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I would always add in angles and slanted cuts because that's going to give you way more interest within your
Okay.
block itself too.
Well, then let's add a pretty drastic angle in right here.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it when you put
See, I
angles
only
in.
made 2
Yes.
cuts, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. It is not square, but it's
I love it.
got 4
That's it
sides.
right there. That's exactly it. You got it. That's it.
And my pieces are probably going to be a little bit bigger than the little tiny pieces because I am working more with scraps. I think we have, oh, Teresa Louise says scrum, a fallen piece of food that is smaller than a scrap and larger than a crumb, according to the dictionary.
Well, I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close, I think.
Well, so here's a learning moment.
Yeah,
I
I love to
have,
learn.
I have now, actually, let me add one more piece on, and then I'm going to have to tackle this one issue. So let me just add
Well,
a little
okay,
bit.
Becca, you know what I
Yeah.
would do in that case? I would take 2 other pieces and add
I
them
know you're
together,
getting
right?
ahead. You're
Okay.
getting ahead. Hold on.
Okay.
Don't tell them yet. I know you're already solving the problem, and I don't know that everybody knows what the problem is. So let me get this on, and then we'll walk them
Okay.
through it. And the only reason why I'm slowing you down on that is
Yeah.
because it's the one thing that throws my mind for a loop whenever I try to work with scraps like this. And I
Mhm.
bet you other people have that same mind block.
Okay.
But I love that you already know where I was going. That's awesome.
My brain never stops. Never. It does not.
No worries. All right, I have introduced extra sides. So after that seam, I'm going to stop and clean this up so that I have, I still have my 4 sides. I've got 1
Yes.
here, 2 down at the bottom. You can't see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think I'm going to do probably, if I got to get this bigger ruler, like Tracy was saying, if I want to get this angle in here, I need something that's going to be able to
Mhm.
go the whole width of the block. So I'm going to take a drastic cut this way.
Yes. Oh, I love that word.
Drastic.
Yes. It's so
And
strong.
so this is definitely not a square anymore. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. But
It's still
this is where Tracy, you're going to want to talk about this, and I'll let you teach it in a
I
minute. But let me
love
show you my
it.
problem. All of my pieces are no longer big enough to fit here. I could keep adding them on the side over here if I wanted to and taking cuts, but I'm going to have a hard time because I can't grow my block this way. So I can't put that there. Even my biggest piece is not wide enough to cut this. So
Mhm.
now tell me what you would do to solve that problem.
You're going to grab 2 other pieces and you're going
Mm-hmm.
to sew what looks good to you at that moment, those two pieces together. Like this one for me was this. There's little deer on here and you can't see it with antlers with
Mm-hmm.
this red fabric because I hit that same thing. See, Becca?
I see. Yeah.
I hit the same problem you did. So now I need to build a strip or so to put on the other side.
So we're essentially starting over to build
Kind of.
another, we're building more fabric to use, basically.
Yes. Yes. And cutting it just how you see fit at the moment. And then I just added another little red on there like that. And also, audition. When you get this big enough, your other strip that like Becca's talking about right now and the one I just made, you can audition them on all the sides and
Mm-hmm.
figure out which side that you want them on. It's just not a given, oh, I'm going to make this and then I'm just going to put it there. More times than not, I'll make it and I'll be like, well, hey, it looks better over here, So you just build on it and see what looks good to you.
I
And
love
then
it.
this little piece right here, I'm going to just add those two together.
I tried to do a very scrappy block like this with my weight loss quilt. I made a crazy block to go in and just resemble some chaotic moments.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part where it started hurting my brain.
Mm.
Oh my goodness,
Is it,
excuse me.
bless you, is it because you just didn't know which way to take it? Or you
Well,
thought,
it
well,
was
what do you do from here?
it was really more, I think it was really just more of I was having a hard time remembering to keep four sides.
Yes, that's a big problem. That is a big, you're right.
Sewing the multiple pieces together made sense to me. I could understand to do that, but I kept ending up with multiple pieces where I had more than four sides and I was spending time just focusing on, okay, what do I want this one side to be? I need to cut this angle, right? And I was
Mm.
I was doing that and it was making it a little bit difficult for me. It definitely feels a little bit more organized, or a little bit more less chaotic, I think is the right word,
Mm-hmm.
if you are working to keep the blocks to just four sides as you're building it out.
Yes, I should have mentioned that, yeah, earlier. It is key. It's one of the key things because when I first started scrap quilting and I would do it was like a couple of my first videos, I would even be like doing the video and as I'm doing and my cuts and stuff, and I would think, wait a minute, that's not right. How am I going to teach people how to do that right? Because I can't, I wasn't even getting it right. I was like, wait a minute, it looks like a crazy thing.
Yeah.
So that is one of the biggest things that you have to keep in mind because that is a sticking point where people get stuck and they're like, well, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to do. So,
I want to show one more thing too. So I've got these two pieces. This
yes.
one very wonky. I haven't squared it up, and I could totally square it up and add it in, but I noticed, and I think I can do this, but I noticed if I leave this right side up, I know I'm going to sew them together. I can lay this on here, and when I'm trying to match up the raw edges, which is what we all want to do in quilting, my piece isn't big enough. So I just turned it at a diagonal, just like that.
Yes.
And I'm just
Yes.
going to sew along this raw edge, knowing that this is going to hang off, and then I can come back and trim that later.
Absolutely. That's perfect.
And now I'm
Now,
blindly making angles and I don't even know what they're going to look like.
well, but you can always get at that wonky four sides again. Just always remember that. But
Yep.
so if you're going to do that, this is what I've decided to do with mine. Now you see here, I have those two pieces. They're two bigger pieces. I'm actually working on a strip right now that I just sewed these two together. I'm going to cut these down and add a couple more in there. And I'm actually going to add those right in the center.
Okay.
So can you see how that's done right there?
Yeah.
So I'm still going to cut off of that. So that's another way to enlarge your block if you want it bigger, but yet you want to kind of add some more interest in the center there. And I guarantee you, no one is going to know how you pieced this together. They're going to be like, wait a minute. So she went here and there. You know, when you try to figure out quilt blocks and you're like,
Yeah.
well, how did they do that? They're going to be looking at this going, okay, was this woman crazy? Because that's what I have here. I mean, ask Chris from Sew the Distance in here. She does those old quilts and she looks at them and sees how, you know, they're put together. If she was to ever pull one of these out of the archive, oh my word, she'd be like, I don't know what this maker was thinking, right? But
Yeah. I love how much visual interest is coming in here. And here's the thing, the logic part of my brain in the beginning was like, I want my pieces to be tiny. And so I'm just going to point in here, right? Like I've got this little mauve piece. I started with this piece right here. When I first started sewing it, I started with, let me get my little pointer thingy so you can see. I started with like these two little pieces. And they were actually bigger than this piece of fabric, but just the nature of continuing to take those drastic, sharp angles has
yes,
reduced the size. So now I've got a tiny little piece of that purple in here. I've got a smaller piece of mauve. And yes, the pieces around it are bigger, but the more cuts I take to continue to maintain my 4 edges, the smaller those are going to get. I love it. This is great.
yes, it's so relaxing. It really is. I love this is my favorite type of quilting right here.
I could see why this is so calming, and I could see the draw to want to make a whole quilt out of just these blocks. This is nice. I love it.
So you can see on this long one, I've even taken, even though these were probably about 2 inches in length, these two were perfectly together. When I trimmed them though, you can see I put some drastic cuts in them to add more interest instead of just being straight.
Oh, this is great. I just want to get like I might have to go get more. I was
Uh-oh.
like, I'm not going to need more than
Uh-oh,
like a
Tiffany,
5
you
inch
better
by
send
20.
all this. Tiffany, you better send all the scraps back to Becca.
No, no, no. I don't want the scraps back. I was just saying, like, I had cut from my scrap pile, I had cut some 5 inch by width of fabric. And then as we were talking and I was pressing, I was like, well, I'm not going to need all 44 inches of that piece of fabric. But, you know, with all the cutting and stuff, maybe I will. But I'm also putting my offcuts. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm putting my offcuts kind of like back over here in the pile because there's nothing stopping me from using my newly produced crumbs to make
Yes,
another piece to go into that block.
yes, that's wonderful.
I love this. This is great. Thank you for
Yes,
showing me this.
you're welcome.
This is great.
I love it. It's the best kind of quilting, I'm telling you. It's so, you know, you don't have to look at paper for, you know, directions or anything. It's just all you.
It's like abstract piecing.
I mean, it's almost like you're an artist, really. How's everybody else doing? Oh, Chris from Sew the Distance says that she would figure it out, and she's laughing, but then she says, not really. And again, thank you to Fallon at So Be It Quilts and Chris from Sew the Distance for being my moderators tonight. I am so thankful.
They have awesome channels. Definitely check them out. Fallon from So Be It Quilts, she just released a quilt pattern that I bought. Yeah, I bought it because it looks gorgeous. 27 pages of details.
Oh,
Just like she put her time and energy and effort into this quilt pattern, you guys. If you have not seen it, you got to look at her social media. This quilt is gorgeous. It's on my bucket list. But secretly, I may just have to admire hers for a little while because it looks like it might be complicated. It's the one that it looks a little bit like a jelly roll race quilt, but it's kind of got like this star in the lower right-hand corner. Like a big star. It's really pretty. You got to go look at her social media. You'll see it.
Well, the one that she just put out on the wedding ring, that's the one I was thinking
of.
of.
Oh, yeah, the table runner.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was so gorgeous. That's
Mhm.
scrappy. You guys would love that. It's so nice. Okay, I think I need more red next to this one. So I did sew this strip down the center, but I need more red in here because there's too much white coming through to me. So I'm gonna grab, let's see, what do we want?
Fallon said I made her cry. Oh,
Aww.
the pattern's beautiful. It's gorgeous. She also sells. I have also, like, if we're gonna give shout outs to Fallon, I'll tell you I've also been stocking her Etsy shop because she makes bags and sells them,
Ooh.
and I keep adding them to my cart and then taking them out, and then adding them to my cart, taking them out.
Oh my goodness.
You have to go check out her Etsy shop. She's got all of her stuff there. Fallon, if you want to throw your Etsy shop link both in both of our live stream chats so people can check it out, I'm sure they would love to see your pattern.
I know I want to see it now. I've never seen that one.
I'm going to take a drastic cut. Here I go. And
you go, girl.
by taking that drastic cut, I just made myself have a long rectangle, but now I've got some pieces that used to be really big that are starting to get real small.
Oh, it looks good, Becca. Oh, I love it.
This is great. Like, just take a big piece, sew it on, make it smaller.
That
This
looks
is
good.
great.
That looks good. I like it.
And you know what's also nice about this? Because these are ombre pieces, the color varies on each piece. So even though I'm working with yellow here and yellow here and yellow here, they're different values because it was a gradient piece.
Yeah, I really like that fabric.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It was 102 in Texas today, they're saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is Dory in the chat?
I'm not
Is Dory
sure.
down in my chat? Hi, Dory. My friend Dory and Glenda, they're all in my comments all the time. I just love them.
Well, geez, I will tell you if I see them. Now I know who to look for. Marie says, I'm still seeing a kite, Becca. Yeah, but I am too. But she said it doesn't matter as long as there's four sides.
That's
And I've
right,
got
because
1, 2, 3, 4.
because you know what, you can build more onto that too. Do you want a wonky square in the end, or you need a perfectly square? I mean, you can square it up in the end, but you
I'm
said
gonna
you wanted
square it up in the
9.5.
end.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
just
where are
gonna
you
make
at
it go
right
long.
now?
I don't know, but I
Okay.
will build it until I know that I've got enough to lay it under a 9.5-inch square ruler, and I will trim off 4 sides to make it a block.
Yes, that'll be good. That'll be pretty. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see your quilt when you're all done with
Oh,
all
it'll be
your
a long
blocks from
time.
your.
It'll be a long time, and that's okay with me.
It won't be that long, will it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be it because not everybody I'm gonna collab with wants to do a block. Like if I did a block with Tiffany, I think I would be done in about 15 minutes. So Tiffany and I will probably do a collab, but it'll actually be more of a project.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think. But here's the thing: is what I might do because I really like this. What I might do is with the folks that I'm doing a project with, I may take the scraps from that project and make a block. And maybe it'll be a crumb piece block, or maybe it'll be like a star block or something. It'll be great. Oh, look at this sparkly personality here.
How many blocks do you have done so far for your quilt?
Oh, just 2.
Okay.
I've got a ways to go.
That's all right. It'll happen.
Eventually. Ian just texted me and said,
Oh, Dory. Yes, Dory is still here. Yay, Dory.
Yay,
Hi,
Dory.
You know how you have favorite people down in the comments. Dory's one of
I don't
them,
know. Go
and
ask
Glenda.
Dad. Go ask Dad. I'm sorry, what?
No, I just said, you know how you have your favorite commenters down in your comment section? Well, Dory and Glenda, they're two of my favorites. They're always
Yay.
commenting, and they're like my personal encouragement coaches, I tell them.
There you go. My mom always
So,
said you shouldn't have favorites, so everybody's my favorite.
oh dear. Well, they are. They are my oh, now you're making me feel guilty. Guys are all my favorites. Well, they just talk to me the most.
There you go.
So I ended up with 3 pieces here
Okay.
that I feel comfortable putting, because remember I wanted more red in the center. I thought there was too much white going on. So now I'm going to
Mhm.
add here. I'm going to connect these two, and we'll see how that adds up to that next piece.
Okay.
We shall see.
Dory says cheerleader.
Yay, Dory.
I hear that. I hear your machine. I love that
Who, mine?
sound. Yeah.
Oh, my machine. Oh dear. It's singing, it's talking to us.
It is. It is.
Wow, I can't believe I have 100 people watching this right now.
That's awesome.
I premiered a video one time and I had like 3 people, and I was like,
Oh,
okay, I'm never
no.
going to premiere a video again.
Oh, no. You can't give up. You got to keep doing it.
Oh, but I thought, no, premieres aren't for me. I'll save that for other people.
Oh,
I don't
jeez.
know. It was crazy. I'm like, I was so nervous because I'm like, oh, I got to chat to all these people. All these people are going to show up. Okay, there was like 3. And
Well,
Dory, you weren't one of them, so I don't know. No.
how did the video do overall though? Like afterwards?
Oh, you know what? That one is doing still really well. That was my 3rd in my scrappy quilting quilt in a day, my just my overall scrappy quilt that I did. It took 3 videos to make it, and that was the finale. And it's actually doing really well. I don't know how many people watched it, but it's doing way better than it did the day it premiered. Let's just put it that way. Little did everyone know that that video was going to be wonderful. So no, not really.
Oh, this is
Okay,
so pretty.
so here's mine right here. And so now this tells me that I would like to add this here, but I need to still add more on top of this particular piece.
Okay.
So I will do that. I will find something that looks good.
Well, my piece is about to get smaller. I mean, the only time that you know that your pieces are safe and they're not going to be, or potentially safe, is when you have built at least a piece all the way around.
Yep. Yep.
Look.
That looks really good.
Look. Oh, it's
See,
so
I love
pretty.
those colors.
I
love
it.
that.
I love it. I love it for me. That's great.
Oh, I love it for you too. I do. I
This
do.
is awesome. And also, could my air conditioning please kick on higher? I don't know what it is. I could sit in here and sew and just watch a movie or just record a video, but there's something about when I do a live stream, I get so hot. I'm like, whoo!
Do you think it's stress and pressure, maybe just that
No,
it's live, or?
no, I'm not stressed. I feel comfortable in front of the camera. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because when I record a video, I'm usually only recording a half an hour and an hour at a time, but a live stream, I'm going like 2 hours back to back, like nonstop, you know? Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Or
So
I don't know. I think these lights are hot myself.
yeah, but the thing is I turn that light on when I'm recording a normal video.
I don't. I sometimes get hot during then too.
Heather said I would give anything for your AC at the moment. Oh no.
Oh, yeah, I know. Our air's on too. It's kind of hot.
Teresa said, I'm so glad you're sewing with scraps.
Yay, right, Teresa?
Somebody else came in, and I don't remember who it was, so please forgive me, but they said that it's so great to see this because they look so different. Our projects both look different.
Yes, they do. And we live miles away, but not too far, but miles.
No, actually, just a few hours.
We need to all get together, all of us, and do something.
You talked about that when we did our little So Yeah collab.
I think we should.
Are you thinking about QuiltCon in February?
I don't know.
I mean, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, I think we should do it.
I think that would be cool.
I mean, could you see all of us getting together? And I mean,
only if we all walk like arm in arm next to each other down all the aisles of QuiltCon, like in step, wearing the same shirt.
I'll do it.
Like Shirley,
you know me, I'm up for it. I'm up for anything.
We got to do like the Laverne and Shirley method.
We'll do it.
Do you see
now,
how
can anyone go?
Look at the look. I'm sorry. I just have to be like I'm really pleased with this block. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Okay, so is anybody planning to go to QuiltCon in Atlanta 2023?
Well, anybody can go, right?
Yes.
Okay, so even the viewers, if they want to go, can go.
Yes.
See that, you guys? Everyone can go. Chris from Sew the Distance said, let's do it.
Let's do it. Come on, Chris. I need to
Sherry,
do a collab with Chris.
Sherry, I'm in Northeast Ohio.
A-Cell said, there's a QuiltCon? Where? Atlanta in 2023, February 2023 to be exact. And then there will be another. Yep. And then there will be in 2024, February 2024, it'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina.
That one's doable too. I mean, that's close to all of us, really. Well, I don't.
Well, I think Teresa, well, I know Teresa lives, she's in the Pacific time zone. So that one, I don't think either one of those would be something that she would be able to do. And I don't think Tiffany would be able to make them either because Tiffany's on the West Coast. So sadly, I don't think they would be there. But, you know, if anybody is willing to travel to Atlanta, I would be willing to hang out with you at QuiltCon if you let me know. Like, I'd be willing to go. I wouldn't want to go alone.
No, that would be, I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, you know, you guys are my only quilting friends that I have, all of you.
Oh, wait, hold on. Speaking of quilting friends, I have to tell you, I just found out Pat Sloan lives like a half an hour away from me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You could go visit her.
I mean, is it wrong to drive by and fangirl in front of her house? Like, well, is that okay if I do that?
I don't know. No, maybe email her first.
Maybe be like, hi, I know where you live. Well, I don't know where she lives. I know the city and state, and because she told me she was doing a premiere this week, and I was listening to the premiere while I was driving into work, and I was like, hey, because somebody told me, they're like, doesn't Pat Sloan live in Virginia? And I was like, I don't know. And so I went and looked it up, and I thought I saw like her website said she lived in Virginia, and I was like, huh, let me check. Let me check. And so I thought it was her. So I was on her premiere, and I was like, I did like at Pat Sloan. I was like, a little birdie told me we might be neighbors, and she's like, and she said it. So since she said it in a live video, I feel like I could say it. She was like, well, I'm in Herndon, Virginia. Where are you? And I was like,
oh my
oh yeah,
goodness.
we're real close.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
And then she was talking about a fabric. She was talking about something that she had done with Kate Spain, who is one of my favorite fabric designers. And she's like, my
Mm-hmm.
good friend Kate Spain. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be Kate Spain and Pat Sloan's new best friend. They just don't know it
Oh,
yet.
that is so funny. Well, you
So,
should have asked her right then and there if she'll come on your show.
well, I'm not going to put her on the spot with that, but I did start thinking about it. I was like, that might be a really cool collab to have. And perhaps because we're so close distance wise,
It
she
would
would be
work.
willing to do something in person.
Ooh,
That
that
might
would
be
be
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
I think so.
But she's such a big name in the quilting world that like I don't know that she
Mm-hmm.
would have time for somebody like me.
Oh, Becca.
I'm
I
no
mean,
nobody.
come on.
I'm not that
You
big.
are.
Like
Are you kidding me?
let's see, we
I
got a
mean,
couple of
you're the queen of live streaming quilting.
oh, I don't
That's
know
what you
about
are.
that, but I would
Wait a
love that
minute.
title.
I am going to dub you right now. I dub you live stream queen of quilting. Do you
Heather said,
accept?
wouldn't it be hilarious if she was lurking in the live chat? Listen, if Pat Sloan is lurking in the live chat, Pat Sloan needs to just step forward and be like, I am Pat Sloan, and yes, I am
Yes.
lurking. And
Yes.
then anybody that is not subscribed to her channel, we'll just force them to go subscribe.
Ah.
But
Oh my
everybody's
goodness.
subscribed because she's Pat Sloan. Anyway.
Well, I watch her, but I'm not subscribed. I watch her here and there. I mean,
Listen, lady, you are a YouTuber. Why are you not subscribing to these people?
well, they just show up on my feed. Most
So you
people.
don't have to? You just watch
Like,
it?
let's see. Like I keep all my subscriptions private, but I am subscribed to you, Becca, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because
right.
you are the queen of live stream quilting.
That's great. That's a lovely title that I feel horrible to ever claim. I am the queen
No,
of live stream. Come on.
you need a I'm gonna get you a t-shirt that says that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I
Or
will
I'll
be
get
too
one for
embarrassed to
me.
wear it.
It'll say on the back, Becca. SEWBECCA.
SEWBECCA, the queen of
Wait a
live
minute.
stream.
Oh my gosh. It's
Oh,
funny.
geez. Fallon said she's laughing so hard. Listen, I've got nothing on Tiffany. Tiffany's live stream on Sunday night, she had over 600 people there.
Oh my goodness.
So no,
Tiffany,
like I'm
can I
nothing
say
compared.
something about I need to say something about Tiffany for a second. Tiffany, every time I see a piece of purple fabric, you pop into my head every single I kid you not. Even if I'm looking through my scraps, I'm like, Tiffany. Like it's so ingrained in my brain that you love purple that I mean, you're like the only one in my mind and heart that loves purple, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So that's my Tiffany story.
Elizabeth Patterson said Pat Sloan is trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. You should hit the bottom. I don't know what the bottom means. I don't know what she means by you should hit the bottom.
Hit the bottom. Maybe she means
the
bottle.
Button?
Hit the
Maybe
bottle.
she means button, like hit the button, like go do it.
Maybe she wants us to drink.
I mean, I don't do that.
Me either, but I'm just saying, hit the bottle button. Same thing if you're drinking.
Maybe she'll come back and tell us. John Harris says, first time catching you live. Whoa, hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. Oh, they're talking to you, Tracy. She's trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. You need to click subscribe.
Okay, wait 1 second here. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Do you think Pat Sloan is like hitting my subscribe button? I don't think so. No, I don't know. Maybe she is. Who knows? No, but I actually do her a solid and I watch her shows where I, see fit or if it's something I want to know about. Because honestly, if I was to watch everything all the time, I wouldn't. be able to
You'd
put
never
out
get
one
anything
YouTube
done.
video. I wouldn't be able to make one YouTube video ever
That's right. That's right.
because they're time consuming.
They are. Tiffany used to do live streams pretty much all the time, and she didn't do a lot of edited videos. She was like, no, no, no. And she has switched to doing kind of a mix of both. And it's like she does the same thing that I'll do. Like you'll be talking to her and she's like, I'm editing a video. It's just like, you know how long it takes to do that?
Yeah.
Kathy just says, could you please do a real quick recap on how to begin a scrum quilt block and any tips or tricks? It's about an hour and a half in. Do you want to walk them through how to start a scrum block again?
I can.
Okay.
Who asked that?
Big.
Kathy?
Yes, and I'll make you
Kathy.
big
Okay,
so everybody
Kathy.
can see your stuff, and then we'll come back to the chat later.
So, Kathy, what you're going to do for your scrum blocks, the whole reason why I called it scrumming or scrum blocking or scrum quilting, however you want to say it, is you're going to look for, let me see if I can find a scrum in here, or a crumb, I mean. So this would be like a crumb, two little crumb pieces together, and then I would call this a scrap. So when you take a scrap and a crumb and you marry them together, you get a scrum quilt or scrum quilt block. But you're not going to just go at it and just do it and say, oh, you know, to the wind. You're going to go with a purpose. So you're going to look at all your scraps and your crumbs and you're going to say, well, what do I have the most of, or what do I really like, or anything. And you're going to go through them and you're going to pick, like this one. For this scrum block, I chose blue and turquoise. And I went through all my scraps and crumbs and picked out only these colors. Now I told myself, I gave myself the rule, it could be any print. It didn't matter. Floral, you could see nautical in here or whatever. Floral, didn't matter. So anything that had these two colors made this block. So you do it with a purpose in mind. And for, whoops, that one on the floor. And this one right here, I chose anything pink and anything floral. So it could be any type of thing that I had in my scrap bin. It didn't matter. As long as it had the pinkish color and was floral, it was going in this block. Let me grab this one on the floor here. And this one, whoops, this one was all done in low volume print. So I went through all my scraps and only picked out the ones that had that lower hue to them, you know, light gray, light green, that soft pink, some gray, and it could have tiny bits of color in it. That's how I chose my low volume prints and pieced them together. And then this ended up being the low volume scrum block. And over here in the quilt that I made, oh, I hope I don't roll over the bottom of it. In the quilt that I made here, I do have a video on this too if someone wants to watch this tutorial. This one, my purpose was stripes, dots, florals. I think that's it. Stripes, dots, florals, and I think any checkered. So anything that I found, and it could be any color, but that's the rule that I gave myself, or that's the purpose that I set for myself. It was like making myself a guideline. So I just didn't go in and I wasn't overwhelmed with all of my scraps. So that's pretty much scrum quilting in a nutshell. And tonight I chose red and white to do my scrum block. And Becca chose some dots in some ombre. It's really pretty. I'm sure she'll show you here in a second. And then we just piece that all together, and you can kind of go back and see the different cuts that we made and how we pieced them together and angles. And one of the biggest tips that we can give is to always keep it, even though it's wonky, always keep 4 straight sides. If you keep 4 straight sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're never going to go wrong with this block. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, audition on the sides. So you'll put these two together, see how that looks, try it here, add it there, however you want to do it. And as far as size goes, I never know what the size ends up being until I'm absolutely done with it. Becca does have a size in mind, which is good to know, you know, then you'll know when to stop. But creatively, I like to keep going until I look at it and it's done.
Well,
So
and
that is Scrum.
there's nothing wrong either. I'll show you. I'll switch out with Tracy so you can see the block that I'm building. There's nothing wrong with stopping before I get to that 9.5 inch size either, because I can always put a solid border around this to just kind of frame it out if I wanted to. So I'm just going to go until I either run out of scraps or I hit 9.5 inches or I feel like I have a complete block. And I'm just building little pieces on every step of the way. If you are interested, the fabric that I am using is the ombre confetti by V&Co for Moda Fabric. And I just pulled my blue, my mauve, my purple, my pink, and my yellow. I pulled a strip of each one from some extra scraps that I had. They actually ended up being with the fabric pieces. And I chopped them all up into probably about like 5 inch-ish squares. And you can see just because of the drastic angles that I've taken on this, I've ended up with really tiny little pieces in here and some bigger pieces. This to me, you know what this reminds me of, Tracy, is a kaleidoscope.
Yeah, it does. It
So
does.
yeah, that's
I
all I'm
like it.
doing there. Yeah,
I like how you have that real tiny one in the middle there. I don't know
I
how you
know. It's
got
a lot of
that.
fun.
I don't know how you got there, but you did.
I don't know either, to be honest with you, but I did. So yay.
Yay.
This is
I
great.
think I'm frozen again.
Okay, go reset your technology. Go do
Go
that
do what
thing
I
that you
did.
did.
Okay, I barely did anything, but I'm going to do it.
Okay. Well, it seemed to work when you did it before.
How's that? Yeah, I think it.
Yep, there you go. Looks like it's back.
Rhonda said, LOL, I just heard the name after I had hit send. Oh no.
Not
Oh, Martha, you
froze.
got that right. It's the heat from the light. I think my lights are too hot.
I saw your
That's why I
light.
get
It's the
hot.
same light that I have, so maybe that's it.
Well, I have two now. I have one, like both that way
Yep.
in the corner.
Yep, same. Same. And I actually tried something different with my lighting tonight just to see if it would help things out. I dimmed my overhead canned lights and
Hmm.
I kicked up my ring lights to give it, I don't know, I just felt like maybe that would help my lighting look a little bit better. So, and I'm quite
Hmm.
pleased with how it's kind of turned out.
Yeah, it looks nice and bright where you're
Yeah.
at.
Well, I'm illuminated and the back isn't, which is kind of what I wanted. So I like that.
Hmm. Okay.
Now I do have, I'm going to show you right here. I have this little teeny tiny piece that is just kind of hanging out on its own. So what I could do to clean that up is just take another drastic cut, right?
Well,
Make it smaller again,
you
or I
just
could put piece there.
you just have to be careful because then you're going to end up with not four sides.
No. If I do this, if I angle it from the corner here to down here and I make this one straight line, I'll end up with four sides.
Oh, good. There you go.
Just like that.
Yep.
See? Four sides.
Mm-hmm.
But my pieces are getting to be so, like my sides are so big that I need to build pieces to put on the sides now.
I mean, for someone who didn't have any crumbs to begin with,
I have lots of crumbs.
You look like you've been crumb quilting.
Well, it's because I'm making crumbs to make the crumb block.
No, it looks really good. I love it. It does kind of look like a kite. Huh.
It does a little bit. I'm maybe, you know why I bet? Because I keep doing these sharp, drastic
Yeah.
angles. And
Yeah, but
there's,
it's cool though.
it is. But the other thing that I have going for me, you have the red and white. And what my theme is the ombre dots from
Mm-hmm.
V&Co. But honestly, there's a ton of contrast. I mean, I've got this yellow next to this dark purple. So your eye
Mm-hmm.
just sees all this contrast. I wonder if that's
Mm.
causing some of it.
I don't know.
I think it would be really neat. I might want to do a mini quilt of this, just like a 20-inch piece, and put it on the
Yeah.
long arm and just do straight line quilts. Just like straight line quilting on it to like,
Yeah.
because this is so chaotic. And then you just add like this straight line quilting to it. I think that would just be like, whoa.
Yeah. That would be pretty.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm
It's
getting really
always hard for me to, well, it's always hard for me to quilt on scrappy pieces for some reason. I find it a little bit difficult because I go in and I kind of want to do a different design on every single piece, which is
yeah.
crazy.
No,
So,
it's not. I've started doing that and I love it.
mm, it's time consuming.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
Good thing we love what we do.
That's right. Amen, Brother
How,
Ben.
how we doing? We still got everybody hanging in the chat.
Colleen says, I need to try this. I have some scraps that are driving me nuts.
Oh,
Tiffany said to do it. I will. Tiffany was like, oh, Tiff, I'm sending off a package to you tomorrow. And it's not scraps, it's rulers. But Tiffany has given me so much advice and like how to do some of the stuff I've been trying to do on the long arm. And she's encouraging me to try things that I keep saying I want to try, but I just haven't done. And last
mm-hmm.
weekend, I sat at the long arm for most of Sunday, just putting orphan blocks up there and quilting them, and just trying different things. And like
Oh, wow.
I love it. It's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it is.
It's so great. I also wonder if this iron is making me hot.
Yeah, I think mine is the one that I'm birthing all the time. Yeah, it's hot.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
dear.
Oof.
If y'all haven't noticed, I keep pulling my iron from down here. So when I said that birthing it, that's why Becca's laughing. It's a good thing she thinks I'm funny. That's
I
good.
think you're hilarious.
Yeah.
You make me laugh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Tracy.
How we doing?
I mean, I could be I think I could be happy with this the way it is. Like I
Oh, I
could
like
be
what you're
happy to
doing
put
right
a
now. I like
just
that.
yeah.
Becca's like, yeah. If you
Yeah,
like
you
that,
like
wait till
that?
you see the next thing I'm gonna
Yeah,
do.
wait, because you're like 30 seconds behind watching that video. You like that, huh? Wait till you see
I
what's
do.
next.
I do. I can't. I'm like on the edge of my seat. Okay. Well, this is what I have so far, which I'm just randomly doing stuff over here now.
I like it. That's nice. I think I'm going to probably just add a little bit more square shape to this, just maybe a little bit. And then
Mhm.
I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want it to be perfectly square. I think what I
Yeah.
really want for this is to have it be a wonky shape, just because that
Mhm.
kind of tells the story of what we did tonight.
Yes. Yay.
And
I
then I
love
can
it.
have, yeah, I can put some solid white around it to make that a square.
Well, gee whiz, that sounds like something that I just did.
I know.
You can, I mean, I explain it terribly in my video, but go check it
No,
out.
you
You
don't.
can see how the white is. I mean, even as I'm saying it on the video, I'm like, I don't even make sense to myself. So you can check that out. I mean, I kind of know what I'm saying, but I did it in a real weird way because I wanted my block to not set like this. I wanted it to be like this. I
Mm,
wanted them to look like they were literally just going crazy within the
mm,
quilt.
mm-hmm,
And so they were on point, but they were offset off of point a little bit,
mm,
if that makes sense. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
Which I confused probably a lot of people with that one, but
Let's see how this looks. I feel
okay.
like this looks like a trapeze block, but I know that this piece, because my mat down here is, I know that this is too wide for my block
Mm,
because that's a 12-inch piece. So if I go to 9.5 inches, here's what I'm going to do. This is a cut. Actually, we're going to go to 8.5 because I want a border. So this is a cut. And I'm just going to take that all the way up to that corner, just like this. There, boom. So this
mhm.
is now, and that's 10.5. So I need to get rid of some over here.
And all of you YouTubers that are watching right now that have your own channels, absolutely do a scrum block on your channel. I would love to see everyone doing it. And honestly, the word hashtag scrum, if you tag that in your videos, since it's not being used a lot right now because it's brand new, you are going to get more traffic to your channel because of that. If anyone searches for scrum after seeing maybe my video or whatever, all of your videos will come up too. That's just the way the algorithm works. So if you're a YouTuber out there, I give you full permission. Absolutely share this technique with your viewers. Becca's laughing and I'm dead serious over
You,
here.
no, I'm just laughing because you're like, scrum it up, people.
Yeah, I mean, what's up? What's up? I mean, Tiffany next week, I want to see a video out, hopefully,
Oh my
and
goodness.
Teresa. No, I'm kidding. Only because I know you guys all have scraps, you know. But
I am looking for some white that I can put around that and just make it a square right now.
yeah,
And I've got this cut of white right here. I don't even care what the white looks like. I just
right,
need some
you
white.
shouldn't.
Nope.
Yeah, just anything. You could even use scraps of it too. And you could even do low volume if you wanted to.
Well, I already cut the white, so that's what we're going to use.
Okay. That'll look good though. I love
Mhm.
white contrasting anything.
All right, let's. April Story said, well, then I need to make some scrum blocks.
April! Hi, April. Everyone needs to check out April Story's channel as well. And Sew the Distance and Sew Be It Quilts and Tiffany's Quilting Life and Teresa. And Teresa, what is Teresa's full channel name?
Teresa Louise, I quilt too.
Okay, is that new, Teresa? Because I don't remember I Quilt 2 on there.
No, it's always been there.
Huh. Maybe I always just knew you as Teresa Louise. Sounds
I
so
think
proper.
we always call her Teresa Louise, but her channel, the
Yeah.
first name is Teresa Louise, all one word. And then
Okay.
the second part is I quilt and the number 2, no spaces all together.
Okay. So yes, you want to check out her channel too. Hi, Polly.
So what do you
Oh,
think,
yes,
Miss Tracy?
Rhonda. One second. Rhonda, absolutely all neutrals. Beautiful. Like this right here. Low volume. It
Yep.
looks great. Go ahead,
The
Becca.
eccentric quilter said, I missed the beginning. What is a scrum quilt? You're gonna have to repeat it again.
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am. That's okay. So everybody has crumbs and everybody has scraps. Scraps are bigger than crumbs. And all we're doing is taking scraps and crumbs and making, wait a minute, what I say? Scraps and crumbs and making scrums out of these. We're just marrying the two ideas together and making it one word, scrum quilting. But with
Mhm.
scrum quilting, you are scrumming with a purpose, which means you are looking in your scrap bin, you're purposing an idea behind it to find just the right scraps and crumbs that you want within your quilt block. So here you can see I purposed with turquoise and blue with this scrum block. So I went through all of my scraps and I only chose turquoise and blue. Now it could be any print, it could be a floral, nautical, dots, whatever it was. I pulled it out and just constructed it like you would any scrappy or crumb style quilt block. In this one here, I chose all florals and pink. So you can see each one of these had a different purpose behind the scrum block. And that's all it is. Scrap plus crumb is scrum. And it is in the dictionary, but I did make it up. FYI.
Rhonda Gillette wants to know, can we post to Instagram if we don't have a YouTube channel? Yes, if you have social media and you are a content creator, share it. And don't forget that we are live on 2 different channels right now, so you have twice the chance to promote yourself.
Yep. Oh, geez. I was thinking I was doing curved piecing just now. I don't know what I was thinking about. Okay, we are not picking that out. I'm going to cut that right off.
I am trying to add enough white onto this so that I can go in and like square it up. So I'm adding some pretty big chunks of white to it. And then I'm going to grab a square ruler and visually figure out where I want my block to actually be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed
how we all
have. Hi.
Aww.
There we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like if you just left the block, like look how that's coming together. I love it.
There's something about a scrappy block. I don't know. There's something about it that just is very intriguing. What I have so far. Are we all hanging in the chat?
We are. I have figured out where I want this to be. I am going to do this. This is going to be my right angle for the block. And now I'm going to put on some big chunks of white on the other sides.
Ooh, Becca, loving it.
I know.
Wait, I have to laugh for a second because wait a minute, where is it now? Who just called it scrumping? Someone just called it scrumping. And I was cracking up a second ago. Who called it scrumping?
Oh my goodness. That had to be a typo.
It was Eileen, or wait a minute, where is it? Oh my gosh. I don't know where it is now. You know who you are.
Tracy calling you out.
No, that was funny. I have to say. Let's go make some scrumpy blocks.
Scrumpy.
Wait a minute. Who was it that said in your spools class that you have when we were learning the paper piecing? They said, okay, so if you're using scraps and crumbs and you're calling them scrums, then what if you're using crumbs and scraps? Wouldn't it be crappy block?
Yes. That was awesome.
I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I guess you could call it that, but
yeah, yes, actually, you're right. It would, but we're not going to go there.
Who said that? I remember. Like,
I don't remember, but I remember the comment. I was like, oh, okay. Yep, that's a name.
Yeah, that's funny. But it's true.
I am almost done. This is my last seam, and then I'm gonna square this bad boy up.
She called it a bad boy.
A bad boy. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they sew for you?
So I'm thinking I might want to do another strip, but let me see what this looks like.
Rich said, you ladies keep your sewing station so nice and neat. I have scraps flying all over the place.
Mine keep falling on the floor in front here, and you don't even want to see the back of this room that I'm in right now.
Well, where were you at the beginning of the live stream where I was like, well, I'm not using that, and I'm throwing it behind me.
Yeah, I'm like, no, my room is a hot mess because I had to reconfigure my whole room for the live stream because I had to make everything so compact so that you guys got a good view. So, you know, I did it for you all. My sewing room's a mess for you all.
For you.
So, you know.
She did that for you. She took one for the team just for you.
I did.
Just for you.
I did.
You are such a trooper. Look at you go. Oh my gosh, I love this.
This is my block, and I went a little long on it because I was chatting. So I don't know. I'd probably cut a little off or add. What?
I'm gonna leave it. But do you see what happened to my block?
Yes, I do see it. But you know what? You're gonna remember that always. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's bleeding into the quilt. I'm gonna leave it.
I like it. That's awesome.
Yep, it's awesome, and I'm gonna leave it. And if I decide later I want to make it scrappier, I can always come in and chop it up and add more. But this is my block. This is the block I did with Miss Tracy. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! And you know, when I end up sewing this in, I'm probably gonna lose it here too.
What? What?
This is probably about 1/4 of an inch. So this, like, I'm gonna lose the white right there too when I sew it into the quilt. So it's gonna be fine.
If you wanted to, you could always just go in and cut the white off and cut the block shorter and add a new white if it bothered you.
No, it doesn't actually. I want it to be
I like it. Yeah. I do like that.
Well, and the reality is I think I'm gonna end up putting white sashing in the block anyway. So like I'll end up with a border around this when it's all done. That's my block.
So who in the comments, go ahead and tell us who's going to make a scrum block or who's going to at least try it. I mean, you got to at least try it, right?
I'm waiting for the answers to come. Me.
I can't. Well, hopefully they will. I don't see anybody saying me. They're falling asleep. Wake up. Wake up.
Look, there's your me's. I told you it's like a 30-second to a full minute delay.
Hey, Beverly. How are you, Beverly? Beverly has my quilt that I made for the giveaway. Oh, does she? I loved that quilt. Yeah, she was one of the ones who won my quilt, Beverly Davis. I loved that quilt. So much work.
Oh, wait. Let's pin some comments here. Because I love this one. Hold on. Where did you go? No, come back. Come back.
I know.
To
they go quick.
So fast. Wait. Oh gosh. Where did you go? Oh gosh.
Fallon's gonna make one. You go, girl. Fallon, are you gonna make one on your channel? Look at me putting Fallon on the spot. It's all in fun.
Where did that one go? Oh gosh. Oh, there it is. Marla. Hope I got it.
Hi, Nilda.
Marla said, guess what? You stepped out of your comfort zone and you feel great about your block. Yes, I did. See, so if I can do it, everybody can do it.
That's right.
Carla wants to know, what size should the finished block be? For me, I am squaring this up to 9.5 inches, but Tracy mentioned earlier that it can be whatever size you want it to be.
Like, I think mine is too long, so I'm probably gonna add more if I decide to put this in a quilt, but in my original scrum block, I had anywhere between, you know, 8 by 9 in a wonky shape, and then maybe 10 by 10 in a wonky shape, so it just whenever I finished it and it looked right to me, that's when I stopped.
Yeah, there you go.
Artistically, creatively speaking, but if you were looking for them all to be the same kind of, like what Becca did, then you would stop, at a certain point and just measure and see, but it can be any size you want.
Let's see. We've got F. Rivera. I do have a few blocks started. I also use adding machine tape to sew on.
That's fun too. Joy Gillespie, she called it a scrub block.
A scrub. I don't
I know
want
those
to
are probably
scrub.
all typos, but they're just funny. I like to
we
laugh, so they're funny.
we also have a message from Sally that says, "Hi, SEWBECCA, and nice to meet you, Tracy. I'm going to try to
Nice to
make
meet you.
one."
Yay, good for
Yay!
you.
Look at that. Virginia says, "I've done them in the past, but I didn't like the chaos of them, so I started making
Mm,
half square triangles with a calmer fabric."
yeah.
Amy C said, "I just came in, but I'm up for trying it after I watch the replay and know what's going on."
Right. Kind of put
All
that
right. So,
down.
Tracy, it has been just a couple minutes past 2 hours. And I do like to be respectful of everybody's time because, as you are now knowing, takes a lot of energy out of you to do a live stream, right? Like,
Yes.
by the time you get
Yes.
to the 2 hour mark, you're like, all right, guys, I think I'm
Oh,
done. So, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight.
yes, absolutely. And thank you to everyone that showed up for the live stream. We appreciate it so much. And the way you all support our channels is just amazing, really. I still can't believe that people tune in to watch, and it's great. And it'll keep me and Becca. We'll keep going on that because
Yep.
we get encouraged by it, really. So thank you to everyone that showed up. Thank you to all the moderators, Sew Be It Quilt, Sew the Distance, and you can name yours, Becca. I don't know how many you got over there. You got a whole bunch.
I have a couple of moderators, but the three that are usually there every Friday are Ian from Off Kilter Crafter Ian,
Hmm.
Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life, and Teresa from Teresa Louise I Quilt Too. Soft Squares did put in the chat, can we see more quilts with the finished block? So maybe I can make you big. Could you show off your quilt behind you?
I could. It's pinned up, but I can probably pull some. I don't know. You tell me if I'm in.
I feel like we can see it good enough.
And
You can
also,
pull that out.
I have a full tutorial on this on my channel too. You can check it out.
Yep. I think that's a great idea.
And I
I
did
think
a top and bottom border only. And I'm glad I went with that. And this was the quilt. I actually cuddle with this every single evening, just so everyone knows. And I did wash it last night because I knew it was going to be on camera today. So, but this one you didn't need to know that. But anyways, I back this with double gauze, and I absolutely am in love with double gauze now. I never would have thought to back my quilt with it, and it is so nuggy,
okay.
and I love it. So
Well,
different.
Tracy, I do like to do a little bit of show and tell. So I ask people while I'm on a live stream to post pictures in the Facebook group of what they did. Would you be interested in taking a look at what people have been working on while we've been
Oh
on a
my
live stream?
gosh, I would. Are you kidding me? I might bust and burst. I would love
Okay,
to.
let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen and you guys should see I'm hoping that this works the way I think it will work. Let me just put you over here. Okay, good. You should now see the Facebook group opened here. So I'm going to go into the group. We've got Maggie, Kay, and Eileen. And if you're trying to get into the Facebook group, the way you do that is by going to my channel, so the SEWBECCA channel, and typing !Facebook in the chat, and you'll get a link to this. You can post something in there, and then why is this different? This is all, oh, they updated this. Anyway, you can post your pictures in there, and we'll share them right now on the live stream. So the first one that we have is, you're going to be a little bit behind on this, Tracy. I apologize.
No, that's
Jamie
okay. I'm
Myers.
frozen too.
Oh no. Okay. Well, you're a little tiny square, so it'll be okay.
Okay. But while you're doing that, I'll get up and do my thing real quick, and then.
Okay. Jamie Myers did a My Scrap Jars wall hanging with scraps, strips, and crumbs. And he is known as the Quilting Compound over on YouTube. Or she. Teresa Schaaf, why am I saying your last name? And I think I pronounced it right. This is Teresa Louise. She made a scrum quilt, which is it. This is what we've been doing, and she set all of her blocks on point.
Oh my goodness!
And this is a finished quilt top that she's already done before. So if you can see,
Teresa Louise, it's beautiful.
She does beautiful work.
Oh my goodness.
Pam Weber said, "This is what I'm working on now. Look at this scrappy quilt."
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Look at all those little tiny pieces of fabric in there. Look, she's even got some selvages.
Oh my word.
Wow. Nicely done, Pam. Oh, here we go. Whoop, too fast. Susan.
Rhonda Gillette says, "You guys are so fun together. Want to see more."
Not a problem. Can happen. Susan says she's done some fringed flamingos. What a cute towel. It was an hour of stitching, broken needles, broken threads, but I did it. By the way, Susan she used to be Stampin' Sue Creates, but she's renamed. I think it's Stitchin' with Sue now. She's got a YouTube channel you should check out as well.
Wow. Those are beautiful.
They
I
are.
love that. Look how she did those.
This is Frances Rivera getting ready for bindings, cowboys, reversible, spiders with webs, and musical notes. 2 of the 3 are donation quilts.
Oh my goodness.
Very nice. And then these are more from a quilt show. You guys can go in and look at those. I want to just kind of show what you guys have been working on. I think I got all of those. Let me refresh. I don't want to stick on that license plate for too long. There we go. This is my version. It's a map for my sewing machine. Oh, very cool. We'll wait for that to catch up for you there, Tracy.
Wow. So she did that tonight?
I don't know. Lorraine says, some of my scrum blocks from face mask scraps. It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness, how talented these people are.
Mm-hmm. This is Carol's finished block of the month by Erica Arndt. I love her patterns. This is the one for June. I want to go back and do them because I love all the stuff that she makes, and those patterns look like a lot of fun.
I always think so in my mind. I want to do that too. I like those as well, and I just think I don't have time. I don't. It's crazy.
Same. Although I was talking with Monique from Open Gate Quilts last night, and she was saying that, she was talking to somebody that gets a lot of stuff done, and she asked how she gets it all done. She's like, you would be surprised at how much you could get done if you just set a timer for 15 or 20 minutes every day and go in your room and just work on it until your timer's done. And that's not a new concept, because I've heard Karen Brown from Just Get It Done Quilts mention that in her videos like 100 times. Set your egg timer and work on your project till it's done, and do it every day.
Like time blocking or something.
Yeah. Katie Vogt is working on her rose for her brown bag mystery quilt. That's really cool.
Look at that. I like it. I like that star.
Tara Lee has some scrum placemats and some churn dash blocks in there too.
Oh my goodness. How sweet.
Oh, look at this cute little applique sunblock for Anthea's daughter's quilt. How cute is that?
Oh, how sweet.
Mm-hmm. Eileen said, so
What is
excited. I'm watching y'all live.
aw.
Tracy finished this quilt this week.
Ooh.
And then we're back to Jamie. I'm going to refresh one more time and see if anything else pops up.
I love it when I finish a quilt.
Me too. And I think I counted a dozen quilts, including mini quilts, that need to be bound because they're done. So I'm really excited to get those done. Jim
Wow.
Bennett is quilting. This is a quilt that he and his daughter are making.
Mm.
It's kind of got, I like how he's done like some scrappy pieces at odd angles, but then has done that long sashing to settle it down a little bit. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Tamala,
is true.
Tamala, I think. Some of the blocks I've been working on, the colors are better in real life. There you go. Here's some scrum blocks.
Nice.
Look, she's
Oh my
got a
goodness.
green purpose, an orange
Wow.
purpose, a yellow purpose, and I would say probably
Wow.
pink.
I
I
love
can
that
see the
green.
pink. Yeah, really nice.
Wow, you have some nice looking stuff. Some
Mhm.
patterns and prints, man. Wow.
We've seen all of those. We got a couple more members requesting to get in. So we've got Susie and Rhonda. Let's give them a minute to see if they post anything.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 and then we'll refresh. This is so fun. Da, da. So while I'm waiting to see if there's anything else that comes in, what do you think about the live stream, Tracy? Is this something that you think you want to do more of?
I mean, as long as I'm with somebody that knows what they're doing, yeah, I'm with it.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know that I would do it by myself. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have the technology, I don't think.
Okay.
Like right now, I'm frozen and I wouldn't know what to do if I was frozen. You know what I mean? Like I went and did my thing that I did before and I'm still frozen. So I don't know.
I understand. I understand. It could be, there could be an issue with streaming from the phones or the iPads, and maybe streaming from your computer is better. Who knows?
Huh.
Jamie Myers is working on some, and I gotta say, I actually think I want to do this with some
It's like
black
stained
sashing
glass.
like that. That black
Yeah.
sashing, that's awesome. I like that.
That's like stained glass is what that looks like.
Hmm. Very much. Teresa McBrayer is working on some tooth fairy pillows.
Oh, how
That's
cute.
cute. And then I think I'm going to refresh one more time, but I think that's all we got. And I think we're going to, oh, a couple more, but this is my last refresh. So I'm not going to refresh again. Teresa McBrayer is also working on reading pillows and sleepy time pillows. Those are super
How
cute.
cute.
Hmm.
Those
And
are
I'm just going to,
cute.
we've got my practice blocks and a small adding machine tape piece.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. I could literally sit here if I'm being honest with you, I could literally sit here for what feels like all evening, just constantly refreshing the
Refreshing.
screen and seeing more and more and more stuff coming in.
Hmm.
But I have to be up in the morning and I have things to do,
Yeah,
and it's after 10 o'clock. So I'm
right.
tired and I want to go to bed.
Can you see me moving at all or no?
I do, but
Really?
I I get that you're probably frozen. So we're just going to call it a night. We've been live for a couple hours. We both made a couple of beautiful blocks. This has been a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for checking out my video. Thank you for checking out Tracy's video, who apparently is frozen. Apologies for the
That's
technical
okay.
difficulties.
That's okay.
But you can hear her, so that's good.
Yes, you
If
can.
you,
And real quick, can I just say thank you to
yeah.
Becca?
Oh,
She's like, yeah, say it, please. No, thank you so much, Becca, for doing this because, like I said, I couldn't do it on my own. And I just really do appreciate the time and effort that you take out of your busy schedule because I know you work too to add
mhm.
me in to help me out so that I can get exposure for my scrum blocks and all that good stuff. And I'm grateful. I really, really am. And I'm so appreciative of you and all the other YouTubers. Everybody's so kind and generous. And I'm just thankful.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think we're a community that is only going to grow by continuing to promote each other. There's no room for
I
just like,
That's
let's
the
just,
way I see it.
yep, yep, agreed,
I
agreed.
s- I say we band together, like what'd you say, like Laverne and Shirley. We all
Yeah,
do it.
arm
We
in
just
arm. Let's do it. Well, how does that theme song go? I don't even know, but now you're going to get it stuck in your head. So
It
you're
says
welcome for the earworm.
Camille, Kamal.
Cavazo, blah, 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 blah,
Hot,
blah.
yeah. Yeah, that.
All
What
right.
she said, right?
Yep. All right,
Mhm.
guys, we're going to end the live here. Thank you so much for hanging out
Okay.
with us. If you are watching on Tracy's channel, make sure to come over to the SEWBECCA channel and check me out.
Yes.
Subscribe if you like what you see. If you're watching on the SEWBECCA channel, go check this out over on the sewing channel. She's got videos going up all the time. Lots of tips, tricks, tutorials, giveaways, fun things happening over there. And she's within 10,000 subscribers of hitting that magical 100K subscriber mark. So you going over and visiting and clicking that little red button would mean the world to her. So,
Wow. Let's get me there, guys. So my
yeah, let's
kids
do
will be proud of me.
it. All right,
All
Tracy, thank you
right.
so much for
Take
hanging
care,
out with me.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm ending the stream.